No! No! No!
Welcome back, all you beautiful souls. We're here. We know we missed a week and we're so freaking sorry. But we're back to bring the macabre and the mindful and sprinkle them together in a delicious little hopeful meal that you get to eat. I am Pops Ghostly. This is the Horror Pop Extravaganza. And with me, as always, is
Little chubby Duke Spooky.
Little Chubby Duke Spooky. Little Chubby Duke.
That's right.
Like
Little chubby Dookie Spooky.
put the chin all the way in.
Dookie Spooky's been a bad boy.
I don't like that.
I didn't like it
Yeah,
either. Let's never do that again.
Let's not do it again. I think I need to go to the bathroom and puke. No, this is the Horror Pop Extravaganza. This is where we bring the macabre and the mindful together every week. And last week we told you we are going to be talking about ghoulies. That got changed up. Sometimes things get changed up, you know.
That's right. And you just got to roll with them punches.
You do. And you sent me a message and you're like, hey, man, coming up on episode 100 and shit. And I'm like, that's fuck cool. You're like, fuck, Halloween's coming too. And I'm like, I know. I like Halloween. And you're like, why don't we start doing some Halloween-y shit leading up to this? So we are going to take a little break in your regularly scheduled program for the next month or so. But the first one you brought to me, and my immediate thought was, here's his inner bitch coming out. This was the horror that he could tolerate in 1991.
Still the horror I tolerate best today.
This is what he did best with in 91. But it was also something near and dear to my heart. In 91, I was fucking 9 years old. So this was like perfect. I probably saw it in 92. I don't think I saw it in the theater, but maybe I did. I feel like I don't know. But this character that we're going to talk about today was an individual that I feel like was such an instrumental part of my life.
For sure, man. I was saying before I miss character actors, dude.
Yes.
Like coming up with these crazy characters, Ace Ventura, Austin Powers, Pee Wee Herman.
Right. And this character we're talking about would do 9, I think, films total as the character. Started off doing commercials and shit, and then had a little short run show called, I think it was like Hey Vern, It's Me, Ernest, or some shit like that. Which he won a daytime Emmy for. He won it for children's programming, so good for him.
And deserved.
And deserved.
And the king of found footage. You said last week Cannibal Holocaust was the first found footage. I say Ernest P. Worrell commercials are the first found footage.
Cannibal Holocaust, I think, was before those commercials. But yeah, he would advertise everything from fucking milk to cars, whatever you wanted. Ernest was there to do it. And you mentioned his name, Ernest P. Worrell, which is a name that would become just, that and the catch lines like, know what I mean? Know what I mean, Vern? Know what I mean? So if you haven't figured it out quite yet, today we are going to be diving into the 1991
Horror Fest,
Jim Varney Horror Fest. You know what though? Amazing appearance by Eartha Kitt, one of the best cat women to ever do it. And then we have some, I think, and we'll talk more about it. I have memories of this movie. I haven't seen it in quite some time. I have memories that were a little bit different than how it played out. However, as an adult me going back and watching this, I was like, yo, the fucking Chiodo brothers did it, dude. And they are, the creators of the Killer Clowns from Outer Space. They were the effects crew on this whole Ernest Scared Stupid thing. And I went to turn it on earlier and I'm like, or my youngest is like, what are you going to watch? And I was like, oh, Ernest Scared Stupid. She's like, that's a bad word. And I was like, yeah, we don't call people stupid. I was like, but Ernest is kind of stupid. So 1991, Ernest has already done a couple things. I think he's maybe saved Christmas. Yep, Camp was first, right?
Yep.
I think Camp was the first big one, and then maybe Christmas.
Saved Christmas.
Yep, and then
Air Brakes.
And then and It would. There was like 4 or 5 of them before they went to direct to
He
video.
may have gone to jail before this.
Maybe you're right. Jail was funny. Jail was funny. And then, the returns would not be quite as big on each installment, but they would continue to do direct to video for another 3 to 4, like Slam Dunk Ernest, where he plays basketball. Ernest Rides Again, I think, was the last one in the theater. But Jim Varney would leave us, pretty early, all things considered. He was a notorious chain smoker who never did it on camera. He's like, I don't want the kids to see it. And I was like, fuck, good for you, dude. Even if you're gonna smoke 3 packs a day and shit, good for you for. And did a bunch of shit in like the country music world as well. Was attached to the Johnny Cash show for a little while and some other things which I didn't know about. But you're right, this man is a character. He's like Dana Carvey, dude. He's, can just put on any fucking face. And these roles that he would play, we would see reprised over the different movies and shit, like the ant with the fucking collar on. She's awesome.
He was the
Um,
best.
yeah, there's a few of them that we'll see time and time again. Other characters will show up, like Bob and Tom, his two goofball buddies who are always just there doing some shit or another. But Scared Stupid, I don't even know. I mean, it's a great fucking idea. And before we started, for everybody listening, you had told me that you saw this at the theater. Back
Yeah.
to back, it was a double feature with Hocus Pocus. You're like, ooh, I'm in for the real scary stuff today. Got Sarah Jessica Parker and fucking Bette Midler, and we got
When I walked out of
trophies.
that theater, I was so happy it was daytime outside. I was like, man, this is scary, dude.
What was your initial response when you saw it in the theater?
Loved it. Absolutely loved it. But I did start to see like the production value start going down here. This is the beginning of the end for Ernest, and it felt a little like that. Although this was a fun last ride.
It was definitely a fun last ride, better than the last ride that we would get later on. So let's just jump into Ernest Scared Stupid, dude. And for those of you unfamiliar, I encourage you. I think most of the Ernest stuff is on Amazon Prime. If you've got that, you can watch it there. If you've never seen an Ernest movie, you got to think Three Stooges, like you were saying, Pee Wee Herman, vaudeville mixed in with a bunch of funny fucking characters. It's and it screams 1991 for so like I was like thinking Dennis the Menace and shit like that that came out around the same time. Problem Child, just like
Yeah.
super ridiculous slapsticky type stuff. And this is no different. And it opens up on a bunch of old timey people burying a fucking troll. And Jim Varney is playing the preacher character. And we don't get to see the troll. It's all bagged up and like, "Rah," in this thing, and its hands are coming out. It's like, you'll be down here forever. But the troll cursed that Worrell family line to become dumber and dumber and dumber with every generation. And that's the setup for Ernest being a jackass.
That's what I love, though, is that this movie goes deeper into the Ernest mythology, and we really get to see where Ernest came from and why Ernest is Ernest.
Why he is the dumbass that he is. And you're right, though. We do get a little bit of that. And, we jump to the future pretty quickly. And we've got Ernest driving around in his dump truck, his garbage truck, with his little dog Rimshot, who,
I forgot Rimshot. What a terrible
yeah,
name for a dog. Like in 91, totally cool. Now, a little troublesome.
right. So Ernest and Rimshot are driving around. We see his stupidity right out of the gate. The sheriff was talking to the mayor, like, you need to clean up old lady fucking Hogface's house out there, And her house is dope. It looks like the Thunder fucking Dome had sex with House of a Thousand Corpses. There's just shit on fire everywhere, stuff welded all together. She comes out with a backpack on with fucking steampunk goggles, looking like a fucking crazy troll lady herself. But Ernest has got this machine. He's always trying to come up with these machines, and it's got these like fucking mops on it, trying to do something like this. The dog starts hitting the buttons. He's in the fucking back of the thing. All of a sudden, he's like, "Help, dog, help!" And he's almost crushed, trying to put a what did he have? A muffler at first, and then he used like a baby doll head that he's talking to, and then the baby doll is talking back to him because he's gonna shove it in the gear to stop the thing from going. He's like, "No, don't kill me." He's like, "I'm so sorry, baby doll. I'll remember you." Blah, blah, blah. And the thing with Ernest and what made him unique was that he was constantly talking to you, the viewer.
Yeah.
He was constantly talking directly into the camera, and he would call you Vern. Like whenever he was using Vern, it was essentially like talking to you. He just used it for everybody. Like, you know what I mean, Vern? You know what I mean, Vern? But he would have these asides all the time. And it starts right off in this one, fucking crazy back and forth. And I want to say maybe the kids rescued him out of the truck. He comes falling out super comically in a bunch of like his legs are bent over at the top of his fucking head in this compacted trash, and he just falls out onto the street. And that's where we meet these two kids. The one girl had given a presentation in class on the history of Blairville or Brairville or wherever they're at. And she's like, oh, and that's where we get the exposition about the troll that had been put under there, yada, 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 yada. And there's these two, this is so fucking late 80s, early 90s too, like the bully kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, yeah, your report's stupid. There ain't no real trolls. And oh, you like her. You stood up for her, so we don't like you either, fucking Kenny, you little piece of shit.
Yeah, you piece of
And
shit. Hope a troll fucking turns you into stone.
right. And I think this movie might have been a little too intense for an Ernest movie because it really is like, I'm going to take your souls and turn you into fucking little wooden dolls. And then you're going to become troll pods that fall out of the tree. And either way, we'll get there. So Ernest is cool with the kids, though. The kids like him. He likes the kids. Cop pulls him over and it's like, kids, get in my car. Ernest, you dummy. I told you got to clean up old so and so's house. And he's like, all right, fuck. I'll go do it or else you're fired. Like, you're done. And so he goes out to her house. And like I said, this place is a nightmare. Him and Rimshot are just walking through, like, oh, Rimshot, if something was to happen, blah, 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 doing his Ernest thing. And this is where we meet Eartha Kitt. She's super badass, dude. She reminds me a little bit of Maz Kanata from Star Wars, just like super hard, old, short, little mechanic lady. And maybe it's the goggles. It was probably the goggles more than anything else. But Eartha Kitt plays it to the nines. She shows up, does a great job with this character because it is very comic booky, almost cartoony in a lot of ways. And she tells him, don't do this, the fucking ancient curse, the tree, yada yada. And of course, Ernest doesn't really listen or hears everything wrong. Nothing's quite right. So the bullies, in the meanwhile, the little girl she's making a haunted house. And she's like, I'm gonna have them walk over here, and then it's gonna be peeled grapes. And I'm gonna be like, get off my eyes. I can't find my eyes. I rip my own eyes out. And the bullies show up and they're like, earthquake, yeah, 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 like going crazy. And they just smash the shit out of their whole fort. They're like, fuck your house.
They don't give a shit, dude.
Mm-mm.
That's like criminal damage that they just committed. But in the 90s, it was just good old shenanigans. Just like how
Tomfoolery.
it wasn't problematic that this old half-retarded garage truck driver is hanging out with little kids and they're like best friends, and the sheriff has to come save the little kids like right off the bat.
But everybody seems to like Ernest, He's kind of
That's the
like,
thing. In 90s,
yeah.
we trusted those kind of guys. Now we know we shouldn't have trusted those kind of guys.
What are you talking about? He saved the fucking day. He's like the kid who was in Dreamcatcher. Duddits, was that his name that had the lunchbox, the fucking Scooby-Doo lunchbox?
But it,
Yeah, Duddits. I don't fucking like that movie and that book. So Ernest, they're like, we need a new fucking fort. And he's like, well, you need the high ground. And then all of a sudden he's Marcus Aurelius, and then he's on safari with a safari hat on doing some other shit. He is just probably five different characters right here. And the kid will even call him out, like, you got a split personality disorder. And that's where you're right. Maybe if you saw Ernest just, you're walking on the other side of the street and you see him outside the drugstore just doing this fucking monologue in like five different voices and he keeps moving around. Oh, Ernest, don't worry about it. So he's got all this old shit and he's like, I'm gonna fucking help you build this. And they build a dope treehouse after going through this really gnarly swamp, this bog, this just all dead everything. And he finds this tree. This is the perfect tree. You can get the high ground. And so they build the treehouse. The kids fend off the bullies with cans of cat food, and they got this other machine that throws fucking pizzas at people. And it,
That's like
and
Ninja Turtle shit, dude.
dude, it was so good. And that's where I think this movie now for me, as a kid, it was something else. Now for me, it shines as just like, holy shit, it's like a theme park come alive.
Yeah.
And when you get to the third act, when you get to all the trolls, it really is. You're directing 40 fucking people, 30 of them in costumes, other ones like, hey, you jump up here. But the whole thing has this really quaint backlot set feel to it that I don't know. There's just something homey about it, just that you can
It feels
clearly
like an
tell.
episode of Goosebumps.
Yes, just with the production value and the scares just a little bit higher. But you're right. It feels like that. I don't know, just very familiar. It's like the old monster movies from the 40s and shit. The Universal stuff. It's like cool. They built all that. You know,
Right.
like
Yeah.
they took the time and they built all
And
that.
Ernest, like we compared him to all these people, but Abbott and Costello was like doing this shit
100%.
back in the day, and that's kind of what Ernest like went on, you know?
Yeah, and a lot of people are like, "Who's Abbott and Costello?" And fuck, if you don't know them, you should find them out because they're amazing. Those two could fucking comedy like not many duos do. But you're right, it is like that. It's just so slapsticky. But this movie's very slimy. The
Very
troll,
slimy, lots of snot, and
oh, so
ew.
much boogers. And oh, it looks like you got a cold there, bud. Why don't you fucking not do that? But so they fling all the things. They defeat the bullies. The bullies are like, "This isn't the end, Kenny." They fucking take off. So we've got our trio of Kenny. I can't remember the little girl or the other little kid's name. But they separate. They're like, "Oh fuck, we gotta go home. It's way late." And this is where we see the first kid get taken. His name might have been like Joseph or something like that. I don't know, Joey. And this is where the 90s were also very different because we see whole movies now. Like Weapons was a whole movie about kids disappearing and how frantic everybody gets. They're like, Joey never came home.
His parents are like, "Really? We thought he was in his room."
Right. And it's been days,
Yeah.
and then nobody is maybe a day, but either way, I feel like the local sheriff has no idea what's going on. And even at the end, he's talking to his kid. He's like, "Oh fuck, without you, kid, I should have listened to you the first time. Just like you're the hero." And that's what they gave us in the 90s. Like you could be a kid, watch a movie, and feel like you could be the fucking hero. You could be the Monster Squad. You
Right.
could be one of these. But nowadays, like, no, you don't get any great fucking. You're a K-pop demon hunter, which I really love that fucking movie. I'm not shitting on it, but it's a very different. They left us home alone.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. And we could fend off burglars by creating traps that would murder people.
Straight
But that's what
murder
we
people.
had to do to save our home.
Because we were latchkey kids. You were used to being by yourself. You
You're
came
on your own, kid. You didn't have parents that you could rely on to save you from scary things.
right. You need to be able to do this. And in the meanwhile, Eartha Kitt she told him the whole thing of how to bring the fucking monster back, and he, stupidly does it. He's like, all I'd have to do is put my hand on this tree and say da 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 da, and then we see underneath the tree by the roots, this thing's like, brrr, and you see the hands start coming up, and we do see when he takes little so and so that he gets turned into a wooden doll, put into the trunk of the tree. There's this orange glowy hole where you stick wooden dolls in this tree. And he shoves the doll in there and like, only three more to go, and I'll have my fucking whatever revenge. This troll looks awesome.
Yeah, he does.
He looks awesome, dude.
Scary.
Right.
Scary, dude. He's got little like anytime they put little wigglies on anything, dude,
Yes.
that makes it scarier. Then he's
Yes.
got like two noses with snot pouring out, big scary
Just
teeth.
everywhere snot pouring out. And we learn as the viewer relatively quickly that he doesn't like milk because Ernest like spills some milk or some shit.
Milk
And
does a body good, dude. And everybody knew
right.
that in the 90s.
It's the only dude. I remember so many comics in the 90s where everybody had that fucking
The
milk
milk
mustache.
mustache,
The
dude.
milk, you're
Everybody,
right.
even Spider-Man had the milk mustache.
Yes. Everybody hanging upside down with the milk mustache. You're right. So Ernest, or one kid's gone, and I want to say Ernest sees the troll. He had seen it when it first popped up and starts trying to tell people about it, but nobody will listen to him. goes to Bob and Tom, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we got everything you need. Fuck troll hunting." And this is the slapstick shit where he's like, "Oh, you got that album of troll love songs?" And he's like, "Oh, absolutely." And he hands him this vinyl record of like songs to kiss if you're a troll. And so to go. He sets out to go troll hunting. A couple more kids end up disappearing because this is the night before Halloween. And then Halloween, there's going to be a big event at the school, and everyone's going to be at the school. But the one friend, the mayor's son, I know he gets got. The little girl gets got at some point. And the troll, I love the effects too, like the killer clown, like woo, the spinning just drawn on kind of shit. And he gets the like three or close to four. The troll's close to four, and we see the little pods start to grow on the tree.
So gross too, dude.
Super gross. And I think
Anything
he's
where
calling them Brussels sprouts, maybe.
yeah, dude.
Yeah. At one point, he's on the road, and this is a great fucking sequence where he's driving his truck. Him and Rimshot are going fucking Rimshot. You're right. Him and Rimshot are driving around, and this is cool. It's on an old, dolly type system that's just shaking with him, and they're blowing smoke around. He's like, "Oh yeah, Rimshot, we fucking got it, bud. Don't worry, we're gonna fix this all up." And then the trolls in the car with them, and then the troll stops and like has the whole truck because Jim Varney, like the troll, gets on the truck and rips the door off after he locks the door with the window down. He's like, "Ha ha, got you, dummy!" And the troll just rips the whole door off. Varney climbs out. They're both in the back. Troll flies off, but has a rope and is anchored down, pulling concrete in his troll feet. And then he's like, "Throw it in reverse, Rimshot." And fucking Rimshot's running the whole operation inside the truck. He's like, "Put it in reverse," after they tried for so long. He's like, "This thing's pulling 200 horses. There's nothing I can do." "Put it in reverse." Rimshot throws the fucking truck in reverse. They run over the troll, come back, can't find him. And I don't remember how he gets out of this shit, but the parents do start to worry a little bit. They're like, "So and so hasn't came home, and such hasn't came home. And we got to figure this out. Sheriff, what do you do about all this?" And Sheriff,
But they don't cancel the Halloween party.
no,
That would not happen. No,
you
that's
can't,
far too important.
because you were going to have a costume parade
Yeah, it's the social event of the season.
in their small little town. It would not surprise me, dude, if
Maybe
that was
the year, dude.
the Blairville or whatever it was, Halloween
I think it's Burkittsville.
It's not Burkittsville. Shut the fuck up. I almost watched that the other day, though. I was real close to throwing it on again. Such a gem. So the party's going on, and I'm trying to remember because Eartha Kitt, he gets back because he got put in a barrel. When did he get put in a barrel? And she had the comically large can opener that she was trying to crack him open with. This giant, like, old school can opener. And she's trying to bust this thing open. And that's when he's like, "Oh, these pages were stuck together." And there's a thing like trolls can be defeated by, and there's smudges on the page. And there's one letter missing. It's M blank. No, wait. M-I blank K. Yeah. Because he's like, "Oh, I got to find Miak." That's what'll kill the trolls. And at some point, he is covered in like ice cream or some shit, and the troll doesn't get him. He's covered in dairy or crashes into some kind of thing, and the troll runs away like, "Roar." And like you said, this troll runs fast. At one time, he runs right through a fucking fence, just there, and troll doing it. And so he decides he's got to fight the trolls off with Miak. Tries to do it, doesn't work. He shows up to the Halloween party, and the mayor's on stage dressed as a fucking pirate, like, "Hey, we're about to bring the kids on." And the troll is backstage standing next to the one kid, and he's like, "Oh, your fuck costume is disgusting." He's like, "You must be poor." Sick. And the troll just starts attacking the kids there. And
Yeah, he goes from like needing one more to like, "I'll take them all."
right. Because at first Varney's like, and they're like, "Get him out of here. Ernest is fucking crazy doing that split personality thing." And he's like, no, trolls for real. And then the curtain comes down and they're like, shit, trolls. Ah. And now we have to go rendezvous because the troll got his fourth victim or whatever, his fourth soul that he needed. And we're going to go to the tree. Varney's going out to the tree to try and fight off the trolls. He gets out there first. Kenny, the kid's like, I've been telling you, let's go. I know where it's at. It's on old Hagface's fucking land, way out there. Okay, let's go. And she even tells him, like, why'd you pick this tree, dummy? Of all the trees you could have picked. And he's Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he's like, I needed the high ground. He's, 5 or 6 times. We need the high ground. So he gets out there. Old boy already put the thing in the tree, like, come, my babies. Let's do this. Reminded me of Billy Zane and Demon Knight when he cuts his hand and just starts flinging it. And they come out of these pods, dude, and they're fucking gross looking.
Yeah, man.
It's like, but first he's juggling them, trying to catch them, like, oh, they can't hit the ground or all this is going to go bad. He only does it for a second. They start falling in. He grabs a trash can lid and tries to sit on one. My body weight should be enough. They start coming out of the ground. This is awesome because you see some of the killer clowns. They reused the masks, the original stuff, which I'm like, oh fuck, it's Jumbo and there's Sherry, and which is really neat. But we get a dozen different trolls.
Yes. I was like, what a waste, because they had these great puppets. These guys should have been out too, like murdering children.
And they were trying, but I will say that about watching it this time is I do feel like it took a long time to get to the, real action of the movie. It was slower than I remember, of just him being a dumbass all over town, which is funny. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm a big Three Stooges fan. I like the Marx Brothers, all that kind of shit. I'm here for it. So it entertains me. But I'm like, man, I feel like as a kid, I remember just that scary third act, the trolls. Like this is where it gets really freaky. And so he's juggling these things. The trolls start popping up. They all look awesome. The whole set piece looks like it's out of Goonies. It was a handcrafted. There's people on rope bridges climbing over cars. Adults are getting attacked. And then in the meanwhile, Earth Kit, she brought all the little kids who originally got taken back to the tree, and she stuffs them in the hole too, knowing that if this can be ended, then hopefully her brothers and sisters, because she was there when it happened the first time, and that's why she went kind of crazy, which it seemed like it was way longer back than that, compared to what it was now for her to still be alive.
Right.
But maybe not. And this fight is dope. Ernest does the whole thing again where he's a colonel, he's a fucking this, he's a that. They've got water guns. There's this cool montage in the grocery store where the kids are riding their pedal bikes through, and he just sticks his arm out and he's knocking so much milk into the basket on his bike. And they take off, and they've got super soakers full of milk. They've got cartons full of milk. There's just milk everywhere. And
this
they
is
start
when it was so great to be a kid, dude, because you were like, yeah, I want to ride my bike through the grocery store and just fuck shit up. And
right.
like, if you had a super soaker, dude, you might as well have had an AK-47.
right.
So many monsters could be killed with super soakers.
Dude, in so many movies. I mean, you think From Dusk Till Dawn, they filled that shit up with holy water and just squirt, 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 squirt. Yeah.
Bordello of Blood.
Dude, I just watched that the other night. Yeah. And actually, I was going to tell you, when I was down at my mom's this past week, I watched like 4 or 5 things on Shudder, and there were some real winners. Like this Night of the Ripper thing was fucking cool. I think that's what it was called. But yeah, I got to make note of a few of those because, like, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I just re-upped my Shudder, so let me know.
Oh, yes, for sure. For sure. And our big fight culminates in a super cool remote controlled milk air. I don't need a drone of sorts that's chasing the last two. And we do get some fun fights between the townspeople and the trolls. There's a lot of cool this, that, little kids saving their parents. And, that was another thing. It's like, I could be the hero. I could save. And the one troll eats a fucking handful of bullets, and the other one's slapping in the back of the head with a 2x4 trying to shoot the sheriff. Yeah, the sheriff's handcuffed to his own car. This guy is so incompetent. So incompetent. And his son shows up and he's like, here's the key, Dad. And he's like, wait. And he's like, I got this, Dad. With his super soaker. And he's like, go get him, Ken. Yeah, do it. We have our big fight. There's the two last trolls get killed by the drone thing. We think all the stuff is good, but meanwhile, down in the roots of the tree, we've had the main trolls like demons from everywhere, give me powers. And he starts growing all kinds of slimy, like
Yeah.
fingernails get all American werewolf kind of long. And he's like, yeah. Now Ethan or the kid's like, no, it's not over. It can't be over. The kids aren't back and shit. And this guy comes out and bro, they try and shoot him with some milk. And it's like the milk don't work. And somewhere along the lines, we had got the notion that the only thing that could kill the trolls or something like that was unconditional love. And you know what? I'm here
What
for it.
goes hand in hand with this podcast, bro.
The macabre and the mindful, dude. The
That's great.
unconditional
That's
love.
why now you know why I picked this movie, dude.
That was it. You
I was
remember the
waiting for
ending.
this moment right now where it all just comes together and people are, yeah, dude.
But yes, it is the love of a child. You need to love like a child. And you can do it. And Ernest has his milk grenade. It's dripping all over his hand. He's like, come on, sucker. We're gonna do this. And then he remembers, and you see like his fucking stupid face, drops the milk, and opens his arms with a hug. Just to like, come here, big boy. And the trolls are look like Dinklage and Elf coming across that table. And jumps right into his arms and he starts dancing around fucking in circles with and he gives it this kiss on his mouth and you just get and he was notorious for this like thing that he would do all the time.
Yeah.
And so you have this string of just viscous film in between him and the troll's mouth. And this is like probably the worst thing of the whole movie is just stuck all in between. And then he turns like, ee, and you get the trolls like, and disappears into nowhere. And the tree opens up. We get all the kids back. Like, that was super weird. I don't remember. It was like a dream. And then Eartha Kitt's little sister and brother come back. And they recognize her right away.
Yeah, they're like, whoa, sis.
Right. She's got
You're
fucking
old.
steampunk goggles. Like Chris Walken, Batman Returns eyebrows. They're so big and thick, and her hair's just wild. And they're like, sister, we love you. It's like Chunk and Sloth at the end of Goonies. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna live with me now. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're not moving in. Maybe. I don't know. Do the ear thing again. Can you do the ear thing on demand? But everyone is reunited. The families are reunited, and Ernest has this moment where they're all around him, like, yay, here, Ernest. And he has his moment, but everybody starts reuniting, and then he's all sad, like, oh, I ain't got nobody. You want to come back out the tree for me? And then all of a sudden, Rimshot's like, and it's like, oh, the dog. We forgot about the wooden dog. And even when the dog got turned to wood, he's like, what do I do with a wooden dog? He's like, I bet he could swim better. So stupid. And I want to say that might be right around where it wraps up. Kenny's dad is like, oh, I should have listened to you the whole time, son. You had it figured out. 8-year-old who kind of looks like Steven Dorff a little bit from The Gate. But yeah, Ernest got scared stupid. So let's rate this thing.
Five, whatever you pick. It's 5. If Ernest is the chosen one and he saved the world with true love, dude. What kind of message is that? The greatest message of all time.
You're right. True love and
And they
compassion.
couldn't call it, it should have been called Ernest Saves Halloween, but they had already done Saves Christmas. And so they couldn't just do it all.
Right.
So what would it have, I wonder what they would have called
I thought it was originally called Ernest Scared Stiff. From what I read, it was called.
No, that's too far even for 91.
Especially when you got a dog named Rimshot.
He's a rim job. Come here, I'm scared stiff. Give me some of that milk. Some of that sweet milk.
Pour it on me.
From your little nipple.
Not Rimshot's nipples.
Little nipples.
Stop, poor Rimshot. All right, so out of five, let's call it out of five greasy trolls. Five greasy trolls.
5.5 greasy trolls.
Okay. 5.5 for Little Duke Spooky. I'm not quite as enthusiastic about Ernest Scared Stupid, but I am coming with a solid 3.5. A
Fuck yeah.
solid 3.5. For me, the majority of that comes from the set design, the creature creations, the slapstick humor that is throughout the entirety of it. For someone, I don't know. I was thinking about this while I was rewatching. I'm like, for someone who had never seen an Ernest movie, does it,
Yeah, I don't know that it translates.
I don't know.
Well, no, it does. My kids watched it. They dug it. They thought it was cool.
And my kid was kind of watching it a little bit too. I think it is something still there, but as an adult, I
Yeah,
don't
as an
know. It
adult,
would
no.
be hard to approach and be like, yeah. But at the same time, if you're in one of them states where marijuana is legal, you smoke a little something, you might have relaxed a little bit and just fucking laugh at some nonsense.
Yeah,
This is
dude.
it, dude. This is it. And if you have kids, this really is a good introduction to, I think, some good scary because it does have enough. It's got enough scary to really kind of like, there are some stakes. These kids are being turned into wooden dolls. And, these troll pods are kind of terrifying. And the creature designs are really good.
So
So
good.
it has the ability to kind of hold on to you and scare you a little bit. So for me, solid 3.5 out of 5. And before we pause for the living, I was thinking you were like, "Yo, let's do some special type Halloweeny shit."
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." And I can't remember if we did this on the podcast or not. Have we done Hell House LLC?
No, I've never seen it.
Okay, okay, that's next week. All
All
right,
right.
next week is Hell House LLC. It is one that I revisit regularly.
There's several of them, aren't there?
There's like three, four. I think there was an Origin, like Hell House Origins, the
Oh,
Abaddon Hotel. The first movie I loved. The second one is really good in a lot of ways. The third one takes it some kind of crazy places, but I'm still here for the ride. But the first one is one that I do recommend. It's a found footage thing. I want to say it might be on Tubi or somewhere. I think it's free streaming somewhere. You can find it. You can find it to watch it. I encourage you to watch it before the episode because we are going to spoil it. And man, it's just it's a ride. I can't wait to hear what you think about this one. Okay, so now let's take these last few minutes here to pause for the living. It's the segment of the show where we try to be a little mindful, a little cooler to ourselves, a little aware, and just try and change the world in a good way. And I wasn't sure what I was going to bring to the table today because I usually don't figure that out until I'm pretty close to sitting down because I'm like, what's relevant? What's something that's actually happened? And today, though, it's like straight from the news, and it was really, really fucking tragic because not far from where I live, somebody this morning crashed a vehicle into a church, lit it on fire, and started shooting a bunch of people. And I was sitting there reading, through everything that had come out so far about everything that had happened and, the sheriff's reports and all this stuff like this. And fuck, man, the world we live in is terrifying.
I want to go back to 91, dude.
Where all
Why-
we had to, where all we had to worry about was all the computers crashing.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that was the scariest thing is that the computers might not work good tomorrow.
Right. And it's going to shut down all global infrastructure and all this stuff, which it might.
No,
But
it didn't do that.
no,
No, it was a farce.
even though there is a cool movie, I watched a horror movie called Y2K that was like, what if it actually happened? And everything started going fucking crazy. It was kind of fun. But this real world horror from today got me thinking. At first, I was just fucking disheartened. Like my heart felt so heavy. Like I just wanted to cry with these families. I'm like, I can't even fucking imagine, dude. Like you go to practice your faith, probably in, a civil manner, and And it's not the first time this has happened. It like,
It's like happening once a week now, man. Someone's shooting up a grocery store or a school or a fucking Denny's.
all kinds of stuff, dude.
Denny's might need to get shut up, but
Dude, it's all kinds of shit, and it seems like it's nonstop. And my fear in all of this, and I think a lot of it stems from our just constantly having it in front of us. Like it's so fucking much. No matter what it is, you can choose what you want to fucking see. We hear these stories about people getting radicalized over the internet. And then once you're stuck, it just reinforces and reinforces and reinforces. And I don't know anything about this guy, this person. I don't even know if it was a man, if it was a woman. I assume it was a man because it's always a fucking man that does, for the most part. There are some crazy like women serial killers and shit that have done some, I killed 100 babies at the hospital by poisoning them all and shit like that.
right.
It does exist. It's not like women are immune from being horrible, but I would say 95% of the fucking time it's a dude.
Yeah, the dudes are the ones who go Rambo and start shooting places up.
And you wonder like what created in this human being so much suffering that was the response.
Yeah, kill yourself. Don't kill a bunch of other people.
What created, but it also breaks my heart a little bit thinking about somebody going through that much suffering. Like
Yeah, how much
somebody
pain.
how much pain that must be, how much weight that must be to where the answer is I'm gonna sit on a building top and snipe somebody out, or I'm gonna crash into something, or I'm just gonna fucking drive my car through a crowd of people, and just start
Yeah.
bing, bing, bing. I'm gonna park a fucking SUV outside a casino and blow myself up in a Cybertruck. I'm gonna the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And
Yeah.
my hope, there is hope. My hope in this, and if somebody hears me, my hope in all of this is that don't let it eat you alive. There's still good people out there trying to do good things in the world. There's still so many. But when we become consumed by it and obsessed by it, it's like the OJ thing, where it's just like but now it's like the fucking topic changes from OJ went on forever. I remember not getting to watch The Simpsons and shit because that was always on fucking TV. That was long. Whereas this stuff, it's like, yeah, somebody just got shot in the chest at a college. Somebody just ran into a fight. It's like and it seems like that's all there is.
Yeah,
No,
there's
because
another one before you even like you
right,
lose track how many have happened, and you're just like,
right.
fuck.
Well, because you used to have to at least wait for the newspaper.
Yeah.
You'd have maybe a morning edition, a nightly edition. You'd hear about the shit that was going on. You'd catch it up that way. But then once cable news started becoming a thing, and it was like, okay, now we can do it for 24 straight hours. You could just leave it on all day and just sit there and watch fucking talking heads all day long. I feel like I know some people in my circle who are close. They might not do it all day long, and I don't know. I'm not with them all day long, so I can't make that hard assumption. But it's like fuck. Like if yeah, most of the time it's like I'm just gonna sit and watch the news.
Yeah, and I feel like some people that I know that are close that I've talked about it, feel like they have to bear witness to it. That's their penance for like what has happened. It's the only way to make them feel better about it.
Right.
And for me, like I need to be aware of it. I check in on the news to be aware of it. Like I've heard about all this stuff, but I can't inundate myself and read all about it all day long because it'll fuck you up and it will ruin your day. And that's not helping anything either by you fucking your own mental health up. But I also, there's people that just straight up ignore it. And I don't think you can do that either.
No, I think there's, and we're so selective too about, we get like up in arms about this thing for a little while, then we'll move on to the next thing. Where I think if we were to have a more global perspective, we'd be like, yeah, there's fucking 30,000 people a year dying from diarrhea because they don't have medicine or clean water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like our perspective, and yes, your perspective is, small, but at the same time, our perspectives have grown so much because now we hear about all the same shit that's happening in, Italy, France, wherever, people shooting up people or fucking doing crazy things. Meanwhile, we've got, all the stuff happening in the Middle East that we're, on top of. On the plus side, we've got South Park, who still keeps putting out, quality shit. So thank you for that, Trey. and Matt.
And we've got Ernest Scared Stupid that we can watch
We've
forever.
got Ernest Scared Stupid.
No one can ever take that from us,
Right.
no matter how hard they try.
We have the memory of Jim Varney.
That's right.
That's enough to keep us alive. But look for Mr. Rogers always used to say, look for the helpers. There are people out there trying to help. And I wish we had something like that. I know Krasinski tried to do that Good News Network when COVID first started. But I wish there was a 24-hour fucking news cycle where you could turn it on. It's like, these people are helping these people who are struggling. Look at this person who really fucking did a good thing. Look at these people who, you know, got rid of their shitty beliefs and have turned around and are trying to do good things in their community. Because those people are out there.
Yeah.
We just don't celebrate it.
No. And we don't hear from them because they're not on TikTok shouting about it.
No, because they're like, I just feel compelled to do a good thing.
Right.
You know?
And well, and I made some off-color jokes at the beginning of this, but all serious though, this is a huge problem that I keep hearing we don't know the answer to it. And I feel like the answer that the government's going to bring to us is we got to get rid of the guns. But that's not the problem. And that's what they want us to do is get rid of the guns because they're afraid of their population having guns and they're afraid of what we'll do. And I'm not a gun nut either. That's a whole different conversation. What I'm saying is that we have to start treating ourselves better. We have to start taking it more serious when people say that they're hurting and that they need help.
Yeah.
We got to get those fucking people help. Because 99% of the time when we hear about these shooters, someone in their circle goes, yeah, man, they were fucked up.
We were just waiting for it. Yeah.
Right. Don't wait for it. Make a phone call.
That's
Reach
the
out to the
problem. That's
person.
the problem is you can't preemptively, you know, and you're right though, we should. And the ownership, I think you're right. The ownership is on us. You know, if you're that person who's like, oh, I knew that this was going to happen at some point, why didn't you do something? At least just try and be a friend, be kind. Who knows? Maybe one show of mercy and kindness is all that somebody needs to be like, "Yeah, I'm okay. Or
Well,
at least I
often
want to, yeah, I
these
want to
guys
be
are
okay.
looking for a way out. They're
Right.
looking for somebody to stop them. But when nobody does, they're like, well, everybody deserves this then. Everybody that gets one deserves it. And it's so sad. And this just happened. This just came in my head. This just happened at my kid's school on Friday. A kid made a threat against the school. Like somebody pissed him off and he's like, I'm fucking shoot this place up. And they fucking like brought in extra security, called the police in. They're going to punish the shit out of this kid. And that's not going to help. Yes, this kid should have some sort of consequence, but it's not kicking him out of school. That's going to make him more pissed. It's not arresting him. That's going to make him more pissed.
Right.
If they had because this kid's threat wasn't even real. They established that. They figured out that like he doesn't even have access to guns or whatever. So it was just a bullshit thing from a mad kid. But there's so many mad kids out there that would do this. But you know what would stop it is if they had mandatory therapy after they made a threat like that.
Right.
That
we
helps.
We all need therapy, dude. And it's so multifaceted though. You know, you think about that and it's like, what is that kid's home environment like?
Right.
Like, is he fucking lonely? Like, is he just, you know, abandoned by parents or abusive parents that are fucked up, you know, trying to deal with their own shit and addicted to all the same shit in these fucking cycles of like, let me go down this rabbit hole forever and, you know, get lost in this thing. And so it's like, okay, what's that environment? What is the influence from, you know, peer groups and friends like that? But a lot of times it seems like it's a lone wolf most of the time, you know, lone wolf kind of approach to I'm going to do this thing outside of Columbine, I think was one of the few, maybe the Washington shooter, wasn't that like him and his son? Remember he was hiding in the trunk of a car and fucking shooting people at gas stations? Yeah. I think that might have been two people, but the majority of the time I find it's one person who's been, you know, radically inundated with some ideology that is very extreme. And we just seem to live in a world of extreme ideologies, whatever they are. It doesn't fucking matter. It's extreme.
Just last week, we had the Charlie Kirk thing, which there's so many things going on to that where Jimmy Kimmel gets involved and now I can't watch Disney Plus. And I mean, dude, the world is a scary, crazy place right now.
And can you imagine if we all just sat down and collectively been like, we're going to agree and we will take on our fucking government?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we will, and I think a big thing is, and I'm not against the Disney Plus shit. I think that's the most effective way to make changes. Follow the money trail and disrupt it. Find
100.
out where you can disrupt the money trail, and that makes change more than
Yeah.
anything else because people don't like not making money, so they'll change in order to make more money. But if we all collectively were like, yo, fuck you, and just like we're like all of us are not going to use Amazon for a week. We
And
could
we
do
are doing that.
serious damage, but we just can't agree.
We did $4 billion worth of damage to Disney. And
Yeah,
that's just people canceling their vacations in Disney Plus. That
right,
we haven't even seen. That was just immediate.
right.
And it was like, yay. And Jimmy Kimmel, I don't watch Jimmy Kimmel, but I was like against him getting fired.
Yeah.
But then he comes out and did he thank me for fucking canceling Disney Plus? No, he did not. Go fuck yourself, Jimmy Kimmel.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's
But
the thing too, yeah, is to acknowledge, we have that kind of power.
we
We
have that
do if
power.
but it's a society, I think that in some ways, or government systems in some ways that like to keep us divided
Yeah.
because
Because if you tell somebody that you canceled your Disney Plus, they're like, what'd you do that for? Like, that's really going to make a difference.
right,
It does. Every little fucking
right.
bit makes a difference.
And and I think that's a very easy thing to do is, you could do it
Push
from
a button
anywhere.
and you
Right.
just rebelled back.
Right. And that's it. And it's not like Disney Plus is that great anyway. So that was a lot.
That was a lot,
Um,
dude. We got
I
into
wanna, yeah, and I wanna end before we end and just say, my heart, all those families, dude, like genuinely, I felt the weight of that shit like on me, like fucking, it's like a million souls all cried out at once, and we're suddenly quiet and shit. Like I was like, fuck, dude. It was like this pain, like this anchor started pulling at my soul, and I was like, I just wish I could hug those people. So to anybody who might hear us who is affected by all that shit, I'm just so fucking sorry, dude.
we
To
could
any of those things,
just give that big troll of a world. If we could just give it a big sloppy kiss, dude. Just
dude.
the world's goo hanging off our lip, dude. And I wouldn't ew, dude. I'd be like, give me more. Who else can I
Right.
kiss to make better? That's what Duke Spooky wants to do.
Kiss the world better, dude. I don't care how greasy your lips are. But that is something we can do. We can be a piece of kindness in the world. We can each individually do that and say, you know what? The next time somebody says something that upsets me, I'm not going to argue back. I'm not going
Yeah.
to fight. I'm not going to demand that my point be the right point. I'm going to try and stop and see them as a human being who is afraid, who is scared, who is nervous, who is just wants the same things, wants peace, wants calm. I think there's a small segment out there that I do believe are like truly evil fucking people who just want chaos and shit. I do think that does exist. Because if an abundance of love can exist, then an abundance of fucking not love can exist.
Mhm.
So yeah, be that beacon of change in the world. And next week we'll be coming at you with the fucking gem Hell House LLC. So be sure to check that out. And until next time, peace, calm, and love we leave you with. I've been Pops Ghostly.
And I'm Smoochy Duke Smooky.
No! No! No!
Horror Pop Extravaganza.